Okay. This week on Chapters Over Coffee, we're going over pages 330 through 384. Isla wants to get more memories faster, but is it enough for what she needs? The war is about to begin, and she still needs answers. But at the same time, she has to make a decision. Will it be the right one?
Starting off, we are waking up from another memory. Um, so none of these chapters were really my favorite.
Um, they weren't bad, but I have a lot to say.
Yeah.
I have a lot to say.
We kind of got in a heated discussion yesterday about
Yes.
some of it, but I don't know. Going back through it for my notes though was just kind of like it angered me even more.
Let's just say
So
Isla's got blinders on. Like, this is all she sees. She's got some blinders on right now.
she does. So Isla wakes up from her memory, not wanting to remember anything else. She um is really upset that he took her people. She thinks that he forced them to his territory, and she's decided that it's time for that to end. She sneaks into her room at midnight, knowing that Aura's going to hate her for what she's about to do. They all would. They would never trust her again. What she was planning is very traitorous and foolish. Maybe. I don't think it was. They might think it's traitorous. I don't. She's
It
just
was
doing what she thinks is right, but I guess.
it was needed.
Yeah.
It was needed, and I guess it's better to have him there than for her to go there. So, it was needed. I get it. It was
Yeah.
needed.
Standing in the center of her room, she pulls the necklace, and she was wrong if she feared that he wouldn't come, that he wouldn't drop anything he was doing and rush to her. It was barely seconds after her fingers left that black diamond that she heard from behind her his famous little word, heart eater. This next part broke my heart. Um, she turned as she's turning around, he sweeps her up into his arms. He's
Mm,
looking crazed and hungry. He's looking relieved.
a
He's
man in
excited.
love.
She called him. She called to him. So he thinks all is right in the world. She has come back to him. Like he thinks that she's
I
saying,
know.
"Take me home. I can't be here anymore. I know you have my people. Like, just take me to them. Take me to my home." He gets an inch from her face. He was going to press a kiss to her lips, which she was going to allow out of confusion. And I'm like, girl, that's not confusion. That is you knowing what is right. At this point, I'm just
Yep.
kind of like, Oro, you're done. You're done.
Oh,
You're done.
uh
Like, just step
ex-
aside.
especially with
Listen,
later on in the chapters that she lies to him and he knows it. So things have
yeah,
changed.
yep. He noticed her expression. He feels her emotions, and he's caught a little off guard. And she spats out her simple little heartless demon that she loves to call him. He goes from looking pleased and delighted to looking devastated. I don't blame him. And he says, "You don't remember." And she tells him that she remembers plenty and asks, "How could you?" She tells him she got her note. Oh my God. She tells him she got his note, spitting out with disgust. "How could you take them? How could you make them go with you?" He raised his hand to her, saying he didn't make them do anything. They chose to go with him. She's confused as to why they would go with him, and then it dawns on her that he took Tara and Poppy. And I gasped at that. The little gasp that I
mm.
gasped at that, I'm like, That's the worst possible thing that he could have done after how it ended in the last book.
Mm-hmm.
That was a lot, like, for her being confused, her going on this journey of getting her memories back, not I mean, she went from being utterly betrayed in the first book by him and them to, like, betraying her again,
But I see his
and
point.
I do too, 100%, I get it. But I was like, "You are
Yeah,
in hot shit again." Like, this is
because he
not
does,
giving you brownie
right.
points.
Because he does state you need them. They're two of the
Yeah,
most top tier
yeah,
wildlings right now. They're the
yep,
what? They're probably the oldest. So of course she's gonna have to put that betrayal aside for now and think about everyone, like her people, like just
yep,
for like that time frame. And then you can go
yeah,
back to hating them and disassociating from them. Like, but as of right now, you are going to need whoever you can get,
yeah.
whether they betrayed you or not at this point. So, like, I see his point. I definitely saw his point.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Um, uh, I just I didn't see it coming. I pictured
No.
them coming back. I pictured them coming back for kind of like a redemption, um, to get a second chance, to give her more insight on, what they did. Now I just have even more questions and, like, about them, about her, about one of them. Like, I'm just
Oh, yeah. Where did he find
was
them? Where did he find? Because they were banned. They were banished.
I don't know. See, I kind of want more backstory on that, but I don't know. I'm honestly a little confused. We were right that she's kind of at the center of the darkness coming,
Mm,
but she's not the sole reason for it. She's definitely not doing that power struggle that I thought she was going to have
right.
that caused the darkness. So I will take my loss and say that I was completely fucking wrong because I stood down the entire fucking time up until we got here. But all right. I don't know. I'm confused. The tears freely flowing down her face. She feels betrayed all over again. She says, "You know what they did to me, what they did to my parents." And he agrees it's unforgivable, but again, tells her that she needs them. She yells at him that she doesn't need anybody. And then the vines on her balcony rush through the open door, spreading like fingers and just devouring the room. Shadows leaked from her hands and her feet. He told her that she was radiant, the shadows lunging at him, but he just brushes them off with a wave of his
I have
hands.
I have a thing. And here's my take between Grim and Oro, because it goes with this. Grim likes Isla both sides of her, her wildling and her nightshade. Oro's never seen her nightshade, and I don't believe he's gonna like it because it's like
Well,
Grim. He hates Grim.
yeah.
And it's
He
she's exactly like Grim. So like
he's only seen it that one time. He's
and he
only seen
doesn't
it that one time. He
and
like he has no understanding. He doesn't know that it can be
mm-mm.
used for good. He's afraid of it. He's seen one side give life, one side give death. Like that's
Mhm.
I think the only time that he has seen her nightshade. And all of them, none of like I don't think Enya trusts her.
None of his friends do, I don't
Uh
believe. Zed and
Calder
Cal,
doesn't like yeah, none of
no.
them. None of them. And I, for one, think that it goes back to the whole like being able to take his powers, kill him, like take over ruling Lightlark. And I get that. I would be afraid too. That's their best friend. But at the
She
same
also
time, it's because she's a fucking nightshade. Who's to say she's not gonna join forces with Grimm and join him in, starting this war, which fucking pisses me off because it's so out of context between
Oh,
all of
yes.
them.
Oh, yes. And that's where she's got her
But
blinders on. She's got her blinders on for this. But see, and that would make her more powerful. And I can see like where they're coming from, like if they don't trust her, because that would put her more powerful than Oro because she has Nightshade. He does not.
yeah, that's
But
the only
I'm
power
wondering,
he doesn't have. Can he
can
access
he?
that with the love
That's
bond?
see, I was wondering that. Can he get that sixth power through her? I don't know.
Interesting. It'll
But
be
yeah, that's
interesting to see how the rest of it plays out.
excuse me. That's my take though on there. Like Grim likes both sides of her, like any side of her. Oro only really likes the wildling because he's not gonna like her Nightshade's side.
Yeah, I feel like Oro would try to like Grim accepts her flaws, her vulnerability, and like I think Oro accepts some of the vulnerability to a certain extent, but I don't think that he could ever fully
Except
accept her nightshade side. Like you could
she would
easily just slip up, make a mistake, and you're gonna kill somebody or, something. Her emotions control her power, and we kind of find that out. Like it's like her biggest weakness is her emotions. So one slip
mm-hmm.
up and it's over for somebody.
Because
So
I feel like she's gonna have to hide part of herself around him, and you shouldn't have to do that.
yeah. So he brushes her shadows off with a wave of his hand, which I think is fucking hilarious. Just no.
Yeah.
Um, she calls him a monster. He frowns, asking, "How am I the monster? Because I brought your people to a place with more comfort, more options, more chances for survival. Because I have them all waiting for your return." She nearly laughed in his face when he said her return, and he added that he had helped them forget what they had done. He told her, "Some of your people were suffering from endless guilt. They couldn't get past the actions they had committed during the curses. I took their memories away." I kind of applauded him for that.
Yes.
I mean, because that's a big thing. Like,
And he
I
didn't
get that
do it.
she doesn't understand, like, I get that
Mm.
she doesn't understand that it was something that they agreed upon. It wasn't anything. I don't think she, kind of understood, because I think that happened in one of the other memories. Because I think it talked about the Wildling elixir, like, his help yeah, Wildling help with Nightbane in exchange for a very rare, vague assortment of whatever her people needed, and she obviously does not understand that from that memory and stuff, like their exchange, their deal. And so I think it was kind of unfair for her to get mad. Like he did something to help them. Like
And
I
he didn't forcefully do it. They wanted it
Mm,
done. So
yep.
he had the consent from them to do
Mhm.
that. So she
Mhm.
can't get mad if her people wanted that.
Yeah. So at this point, she's pissed, letting her emotions kind of just control her actions. We have shadows exploding out of her. They're shattering the mirrors in her bedroom, anger surging through her, asking him how he could do that. He told her that they asked him to, and she's again confused as to why. And he I like that or I don't like, excuse me, I don't like that he's still holding back, because it seemed like he wanted to tell her something, but instead he changed the subject. And he just
But
tells her,
he's told her in book 1, I believe, he'd rather her find out on her own than somebody else telling her. It's better
yeah,
that way. And I think that's what it is. Like that's what's holding him back.
and that makes sense. That does make sense. But I don't know. I want all of the information,
I
and,
know.
you know, But does what he wants to tell her something that went with the memory she already remembered, or is it something that she, hasn't gotten to yet that we're about to read about or something?
I don't know.
That's what kind of frustrates me. Like, we've been spoiled with too many memories, and now I want all of the information.
Yes.
So he tells her he was making good on their deal with help with the Nightbane in exchange for whatever her people needed. She curls her lips, saying in disgust, saying that he's a monster. Of course, he portaled the Drex there. He killed dozens of people. He denies doing that, reminding her that he told her how the Drex were buried under Nightshade and Lightlark, that they must be rising up there as they did on Nightshade, and they must have sensed their own kind, as he did not call them to his realm. Which is exactly what we
What
read in the
happened?
memory.
Yes.
Exactly what we read in the memory. And
But
she's not accepting that. She is not
she's
accepting
got
that
her
at
blinders
all. She tells him she knows that he has the sword, that he
on.
must control, he has to control them. Like
Oh yeah.
there's no other way. But
Even
he
though he's
confirms that
told
he
her that he
yes,
wanted the sword to
yes.
kill them, like
Yes, like, he wants to keep them from destroying everything for her. For her. He wants that life with her. Like, later on, he even says that was all before. Like, he never wanted the portal. He never wanted, like,
mm-mm.
to control the army. He doesn't want to follow in his dad's footsteps, even more now since he met her. He just wants to protect his people. He wants to protect his home. He wants to protect her. He wants to ensure his future with her. But I still don't know how I would react if it was me. Like, I'd be fucking pissed, but I'd be like, "Oh my god, nobody's ever done that for me." Like, again, just like in the first book, he did what he thought was right for the right reason in the wrong way.
Yes.
In the wrong way. Taking in
Excuse
Tara
me.
Poppy in the wrong way.
But for the
Telling her
right
the truth.
reasons.
Yes, for the right reasons. It's all for the right reasons. It's all for the right reasons. It's just horrible timing, horrible situations why. Like, it's all just
But again,
and it's just too much for her all at one time. It's just all of this stuff is happening one after the other.
and it doesn't help that, Oro, his friends, everybody on that side's, oh, Grimm's this type of person. He's bad. And then her memories are telling her a whole different other story. So it's like, who do I trust
Yeah.
more? Her past
Yep.
self or the people that's talking in her ear, pretty much.
Yeah. So he confirms he has it, saying that he did not order them to attack Lightlark. Um, She tells him that she knows that he's coming to kill everyone on the island, that he will murder thousands of innocents just to get the island, just to, like, get Lilar, get all that. He kind of spits back like he's not planning on killing everyone. All he did was send a warning, which is more than the people deserve. They can either leave or join them. It's their choice, but no one has to die. And again, like, we're only seeing this from, like, Isla's point of view. So, you've got this voice that's coming in through that dinner and everything that's like, you have 30 days. The war is coming in 30 days. Like, I get that she thinks, like, oh, this is a warning for him. And he's, like, dark and broody and just fucking, you know, all of the things. And he thinks he's doing a good thing. So I kind of see where that point of the story is kind of like out of context, because of course he's
Mm-hmm.
going to do it in a dark and broody way that makes it seem like he's threatening them, like, 30 days I'm going to come and fucking kill you. And that's how they see it, and he's just like, I'm just trying to fucking warn you guys.
Right.
That's all it is. Like, I'm I'm not starting the war. Like, I'm trying to tell you guys, like, we have an army. You can join it or you can die. Like, you can fight on your own. You can believe nothing's coming, or you can join us
Mm-hmm.
and we can rise up and defeat them type thing. Uh, Then he proceeds to tell her that if he really wanted to take the island by force, he could do so that very moment, destroy all of it, everyone in a matter of seconds, since the curses are over. Um, by this point, I don't know if it's because she pulled the necklace, but the necklace is visible now. You can see it on her neck. It's visible, it's there. She demands that he take it off, and then he tells her that if she had remembered, she would know that he can't. She can't,
I
he can't,
Why?
nobody can.
Why can't he remove it? I need to know.
I know, I know. So she also, and I'm going to say that this way, think that she can see through his eyes his intention on invading Lightlark and begs him not to do this if he really loves her. And he replies, "That's the reason I am doing this." And then he was gone. So I don't think she saw intention of invading Lightlark. I think what he sees, or what she sees, is intention of protecting her, of coming to Lightlark, of fighting. And it's just like we had kind of like our heated argument. It wasn't like an argument, but our I won't say argument, our heated discussion that we started to have before we like made ourselves stop. Um, is that he doesn't like he brings his people there. He doesn't do anything. He's just there. He's prepared. Like he's waiting and ready, and that's it. And then
Yeah.
Terry Ho, here comes the fucking people of Lightlark making the first move. And
Because later
who
on, and this
initiated
is
what? Like who came there to defend and who initiated what? And I
right.
get why they did, because they're like, we don't want to be caught off guard because they're powerful, like we're powerful, but they're fucking powerful. They have Grim. So we want to make the first move. We want to start taking their fucking people out. But at the same time, it was like they didn't fucking do anything. So
Uh and later on we find out two realms are not there. Two realms are not there during the battle because they're being protected. She just needs to get them blinders off.
she does. She does. Um At this point, she knows what she needs to do. She goes to Remlar
She's
and she asks him to train her in something wrong, something treacherous. He's surprised at first, and she tells him to teach her how to cut off someone's power through a love bond for at least a few moments. And he's this kind of creeps me out. Like his lips crawled into a wide, wide smile, and he responds, "It would be my pleasure." And I'm like, "You dirty bitch." Not her,
because
him.
he's
Like
darkness.
Remlar,
He's
that's all. That's like all he's been waiting for is like,
he's
let me show
darkness.
you, let me show you the ways.
Mm-hmm.
We have 3 days, 3 days until war. She calls everyone into the war room, tells them how she summoned Grim to her, saying that she thought she could reason with him, knowing that it was risky. And she knows that he needs something from Lightlark beyond her, and she needed to figure out what it was. And I'm so pissed at this stretch of chapters that I don't think we figured out what it was. We have not figured out what it is yet.
Mm.
So I was kind of disappointed that we have to wait for the next stretch chapters, which I'm reading as
Or
soon as we're
short.
done.
Oh
Um,
yes, me too.
they are short. They are short. So, which leads me to believe, like, is the war going to be over that fast? Like, whatever's happening going to be over that fast? Or are we carrying off into book 3? Because I need some answers. And I kind of
Yeah.
hope the war is not, like, 2 seconds. Like, don't be 2 seconds and then done. Like, oh, this whole book, and then the directs are gone. Like, give us something.
Right,
Give us
right.
a little something. I mean, because after this, I don't know what we could be doing in book 3. But, I don't know where
Um,
it's going to go from
we
there.
have another little pet. So, does he make an appearance?
I thought that was cute.
Yes.
It was so cute.
Excuse me.
At this point, she knows like nobody's gonna trust her. Zed tells her that it's treasonous, and there's Oro, defending her, telling them to let her speak. She tells them that she could feel that he still loves her. Zul, comments about asking if she was able to feel the connection. She confirms, and she knows how they can win. No one moved, waiting for her to explain. She says Grim is too powerful and makes him nearly impossible to defeat, especially with the sword. But he loves me, and I can use the link and take away his powers long enough for us to overpower him. Enya asks if she has ever tried that before, and she shakes her head no, saying that she has only accessed powers through the link a little bit and stuff. Of course, Aura's like, no, you don't have to do this. It's too much of a risk. Like, if he figures out what you guys are doing, he could portal away. Calder actually agrees with her. Cal, he tells them that, it could change everything, could change the entire tide of the war, but it could be sentencing all of Nightshade to death. And then Enya tells them that, she could take his powers, it could possibly spare his people. They could kill him and not kill all of Nightshade. I hope doesn't fucking happen. I don't.
Mm-mm.
I hope not. Azul, all but like he confirms that in theory it could work. It's never been tested through a love bond, and then asks if she would actually be willing to kill him. She, I think, sits on it for like a second before answering, remembering like the vision from the vault. If she doesn't stop him, he would kill innocent people. She has seen her death. He confirmed that he was doing it for her, all again out of context. He's really going to war for her, not for her, like for her, like to kill people, but to
Right.
protect her. So yeah, for her, but not in the sense that she thinks, and she agrees. Um, Remlar teaches her the basics of taking powers, requiring a complete hold. She has to pinch the thread between her and Grim between her fingers and be strong enough to stop the flow of power within him, which sounds kind of weird, but also kind of reminds me of from the animated Hercules movie with like the string of life
Oh,
and
where they're trying
stuff
to cut
like that.
it.
Like, yeah, like kind of like I pictured it as like a thread like that, and she's got to, grab onto that, and she's got to figure out how to like cut it off from him, but keep it
Almost
connected to her.
like pinching a
Uh,
cord, to cut off like the water flow or something.
yeah, yeah. We're down to 2 days, and she is getting a little more upset that she knows that he needs something from Lightlark, but she can't remember what it is. And she needed a shortcut, and tells Remlar that she needs him to help her beat it up. And she agrees. I don't think he was so much as hesitant, but I think he was like, this could be really bad type. Like, are you sure this is what you kind of want to get into? Um, but she knows that the more she sees, the more she knows, and is hoping that it'll unlock some stuff. And I wrote down the questions that he was asking, but I don't exactly understand the point of them at first. Like, he asks her, like, he's pouring his tea and sipping on it and stuff, and he's like so fucking chill. Like, it's weird. Like, he's a weird kind of chill. But he asks her, what is the opposite of wildling? Right? Is that what he asks her? What's the opposite of wildling? Like, I
I
don't.
thought it was dawn, the opposite of
Oh,
dawn, or the opposite of
what is
dusk
the
and something.
opposite of night? Wildling. And she responds, day. He shrugs, if you say so. She tries to ask him, well, like, what would your answer be? And he just sips his tea, says, few questions in this world only have one answer. Doesn't get a response as to what his answer actually is to that question. But then he asks her, what does power feel like to you? And she tells him that it feels like a seed behind her ribs, which kind of excites him with her response for that, and tells her that that's a very pretty way of seeing it, very fitting for a wild thing.
Mm-hmm.
And she asks him, what does time feel like? And he says, like nothing. I've been alive for so long that my power is as much a part of me as my blood and bones. And then she asks him if he truly is Nightshade. He tells her, you could call it that in terms of his powers. And she asks how they've not been banned yet. Like, how have you not been banned from the island? And his response, and I feel like he did like a cocky like type of response, but he says that they all fear him too much because his knowledge surpasses theirs. He has survived when kings have risen and fallen and died. Like, he has remained. The ancient creatures remain, and some of them remember. And when she asks what they remember, he says, home. And that sends her into another memory. And home, we later find out, is something I
Another
didn't
world.
fucking expect. But yeah, which is kind of like what brought me to my biggest question with our heated discussion of, are they from that world? Like, are they really that old and just nobody really knows? Are they, is it like a Celeste thing? An Aurora thing? But they're, like, I don't know. Or did they have family from that kind of passed on stories of this whole other world and they just want to go and see it? And that's why they were like, thanks for opening it for us. So, going into her next memory, they have a plan to get past the dragon. Grim's gonna lure it out of the cave. She'll get past all of the protections before the dragon returns. And she had been practicing with his illusions, finished it for the 10th time successfully, and he actually looked impressed. Tells him that she's ready and they should celebrate. She wants to go to the launch of Orbs and the Skyling Newland to celebrate the new season of hot air balloons being unveiled. Of course, he scowls, saying that they always find an excuse to celebrate. And I thought it was funny that he joked that they probably celebrate tying their own shoes.
Yes.
He tries to get out of it, asking, don't you have anybody else to go with? And she says that she probably can. And he tells her not to even think about it and agrees to go, which I thought was really sweet. That he agreed to doing something she wanted to do, not like, no, we have to get the sword and blah, 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 blah.
Right.
It's too cutesy for me. Um, I pictured her as one of those little dolls that you would decorate your MySpace page with. Like the little glitter dolls you would take, you'd copy. Oh my god, do you not remember fucking MySpace? Did you ever
Oh,
decorate your
yes.
MySpace with like the
But I don't remember.
URLs?
Yeah, but I don't
The
remember the
URLs with the
dolls.
little, they were like little animated characters or something. You had like wings and glitter and high heels. They kind of reminded me of like little JPEG, I don't know.
Listen, Mine was all
Bratz
emo.
dolls and some
I didn't have the dolls. Mine was like emo inspired. But I
mine
don't
went
remember
back
the
and forth.
dolls.
Mine went back and forth. I'll have to, like, find a picture. And, but that's kind of like what she reminded me of. Like, she describes everybody as wearing glitter in their hair, their outfits, dusted on their shoulders. She made Grim go buy all this fucking shit at the market, and he, like, agreed. And, like, she had on this tiny sky blue strapless dress. She glued little gems on each side of her eyes. She dusted her collarbones and her shoulders with glitter, and he's like, he frowns. Like, he's just, ugh. Like,
I mean, it's
you
glitter.
look horrible.
I mean, it's glitter though.
Um, but yeah, he just, which, I mean, I get, like, these little, like,
Oh, I
everybody
didn't have the
decorated with, like,
dolls.
oh my gosh, everybody,
No.
like, decorated these, but that's honestly how I kinda pictured her, when it described her little outfit. She thinks that, it's all beautiful. He does not. He's very blech right now.
Excuse
And
me.
then I thought this was sweet. He tells her that when you've seen something truly beautiful, everything else looks painfully ordinary. That was
Yes,
his
I'm
way
not
of saying,
her.
like, she's the prettiest thing that, she's the prettiest
He's
thing
seen.
there. We have Azul giving a speech. For a hot second, she wonders what Azul would think, seeing a nightshade and a wild thing together, holding hands at that. Grateful that Grimm put an illusion. And I thought this was sweet. So at that thought, she's like, "What am I doing? What am I doing?" Drops his hand, and then he immediately grabs her hand back and, like,
Mm-hmm.
locks their fingers together, and
He's
of
like, nope,
course,
not happening.
her yeah, and then her mind goes, directly to the things that he can do to her. Then he takes her to a balloon, skips the line because why not?
Right?
And then they're flying, and she's scared. She doesn't think that she likes heights. And the way he made a calming sound, and the way he put his chin on her head. Like, he was really sweet this chapter. Like, I really. So, okay, I can't say when I said at the beginning, like, none of these chapters were my favorite. This one was kind of my favorite because this just kind of put everything into, like, their bond becoming a little bit stronger and kind of fortifying, like, the love that he's developed for her when he's supposed to be this big scary man.
Right.
And he's very vulnerable with her. And he, like, so aren't they, like, kissing? I didn't type that out. They're kissing, and he, like, sits her on the edge of the basket, like, no thank you. And then he tells her, or she tells him, to portal them back to her bedroom. Of course. Yeah, let's see. She tells him she's disappointed that she didn't kill him, and he's disappointed that she didn't try again.
Is that his kink? like, like her stabbing him? Like, does he have a stabbing kink or like on the brink of death kink?
That's exactly what that sounds like. Like,
I mean,
that's
that's the only scar he has. When they were making out and she stabs him, he kept that scar, and now he's disappointed that she
yeah.
didn't try to kill him again. Sounds to me like somebody likes a little something something.
And we end the memory of him laying her in bed, saying, "Not tonight," and then tells her to rest and to remember to dream of him. But lo and behold, we don't go back to present day. We stay in the
No,
past.
we
I was
get
surprised at that.
another, I know, we get another memory. So, she's back to training while Grim researched the dragon. He had a plan for distracting it. All Isla had to do was make sure she made it through the trials and to the sword without dying. At the caves,
Which
there was a
sounds
noise.
so easy, right? It's easy.
Yes.
So easy.
Yes. At the caves, there was a noise outside of it. The dragon opened an eye and roared. Then the dragon shot out of the cave like a strike of lightning. And then she's going through the trials. First, it was arrows. Then boulders fell from above. Next came thousands of ice shards, which we've known these three trials so far. We just haven't seen anything afterwards. Then a spear flew, aimed at her side, but she was faster. A foot before the sword, a tunnel of wind burst through the cave. She faced it full on, shield in front of her, until it stopped and she went tumbling. The sword was in her reach. She heard a roar behind her. Her hand reached for the sword. Once she had it in her hands, they could portal away. The dragon was coming. Her fingers brushed its hilt. It felt cold before warming, waking up, which we knew that it was under a slumber because they couldn't really sense it. They just knew kind of where it was at.
Mm-hmm.
She turned to see where Grim was and tell him she got it, only to see a flood of fire filling the cave. It was too late. She wouldn't reach her starstick fast enough. So Isla prepared to be burned alive. Before the flames caught her, shadows filled the cave, shielding her, saving her. The fire had cleared, the shadows fell away, and Isla watched the sword vanish. Because Grim had saved her, he used his powers knowing it would mean giving up the sword. Or so we think.
Yes, so and I was about to say, like, that right there in that vision should have, like, told her, like, okay, he's maybe he's not as bad as what we think. Like, he seriously just sacrificed being able to get the sword that we think. We find out that he knew all along what was gonna fucking happen.
Yeah.
Um, which fucking pissed me off.
But
But
is it still
that
going
was
to
before
happen? Is it still going to happen because it found her?
see, I don't know. Well, and obviously it didn't kill her on the spot. But
No.
that makes me wonder, like, how much time could it have cut from her life? You know, when we get to that point and stuff, like, are we talking like it cuts, 10 years off your life? You cut your life off by half? Like, you
Right.
know, I don't know. But
Yeah. Isla asked why he did that. Graham says, "You think I would watch you die for the sword? Did you think I would make a choice that wasn't you?" To which Isla told him, "Yes, you said so, because in a previous memory, he did tell her that he would not save her for the sword when they were on the thieves' area." But Grim told her things have changed. His realm does not need it, but is not the most, or his realm does need it, sorry, but it is not the most important thing in the world. Isla looked at him, really looked at him. She saw pain in his eyes as he assessed her for any injuries, but she didn't see regret. She tells him she touched it, that maybe she'll be able to find it again now that it knows her. But Grim says he doesn't want to use the sword anymore because its cost is too high. Excuse me. She asked how he was going to save his realm and how he was going to stop the Drex. So he kind of like jokingly said it at the same time, probably to like uplift her, but he said he was going to use his powers the same as always, use himself as a shield. Graham said
I
that
hope
he is
that's not
still,
a foreshadow.
oh, like for the war and stuff. I hope not either.
Like he speaks it and then, it happens. Like not as something like he knows is going to happen, but just kind of like, you know, as a
Right.
foreshadowing thing.
Grim said he'll still keep his promise, but it would be fun pretending to be strangers. So I quoted this because I thought this was kind of like important-ish. But he stated, to pretend I don't know that you love chocolate and touching your hair and that you blush when I look at you for more than a few seconds. or that you hate the cold and love to dance and you frown when you lie. His words were soft, so unlike him. He tucked her hair behind her ear. You really do, by the way, he said. You should work on that before the centennial. Um, what's my Isla felt tears sting in her eyes because he knew her. And then she states, Isla's voice was thick with emotion when she said, and it will be fun pretending like I don't know the shadows at your feet puddle when you're happy, or that for some reason you've had healers remove every one of your scars except for the one I gave you, or that you have a magnificent tub in your bathroom and an even more magnificent ego. She bit her lip, and that, even though I hated you, really, really hated you, whenever I'm not with you, whenever I'm with anyone else, I feel hopelessly alone. That was cute. That was so cute. Like they both know
But
each other.
they do.
Um, Isla tells him they'll be strangers at the Centennial, but Grim says no, we could never be strangers. Isla then asks him what they are, even or what they are then if they're not strangers or enemies. And then he states, I don't know, he said, but I want to be the only person you glare at, Heart Eater. I want to be the only person you insult. I want to be the only name you speak in your sleep. His eyes darkened. I want to be the only person who knows how to make you writhe. I
Right.
never know writhe. I never know
Right.
this
Like,
freaking word against the wall. He studied her. You know what? I want everything. I want to be greedy and selfish with you. I want all your laughs, all your smiles too. He frowned. I would rather die than watch you smile at anyone that isn't me. Grim closed his eyes slowly. He looked almost pain. And it didn't make sense to her. Um, but Isla and Grim both tell each other there's something they need to tell the other. He had saved her. She wanted him to see all of her. Before she got the words out, Grim says, I know. Which I had a feeling like he knew. Like, there was just something like I knew that he knew. But he
yeah.
knew that the curses didn't apply to her or that she's never wielded power. He's known for a while. Because nightshades, again, can sense curses, but he didn't realize it at first, but he couldn't sense hers. Then, when the wildlings were able to attack her in the forest to try and get her heart, he kind of put two and two together that she didn't fight back. Uh, but to him, absolutely nothing. Or wait, oops, I skipped a part. Isla asked him what was wrong with her, but to him, absolutely nothing was wrong with her. So then Isla goes on her toes and kisses him. It was clumsy and too forceful and caught him by surprise. She was a burning flame, and there were too many clothes, too many layers between them. She was always told her body belonged to the realm, but right now she wanted to feel everything. She wanted Grim to show her. So she tells him, I want you, I want everything. So he tells her that he is not gentle, but when Isla asks if he could for her, he nods. That's cute. So Grim creates an illusion so they wouldn't get caught. Isla tells him that he's perfect. She didn't know someone could look like that, and it was unfair. Grim tells her that she's doing very little to discourage his magnificent ego. As she stroked her hands down his chest, he radiated pure power and strength, but she could have sworn he shivered. Isla tells him that she won't have any dresses left if he keeps destroying them, so he tells her he'll buy her new ones, he'll buy her a market, and get her her own tailor. After undressing and settling between her legs, Grim told her, I think you'll find we fit perfectly. And then they're going through the deed. At first, there was flashes of pain. She winced, and Grim always stopped, always waited for her to tell her to go further because he was gentle. Isla's head fell back as she groaned, and Grim was making a sound like a growl. She saw stars. She's never felt this good. After nothing too exciting happened during it, but after both going over the edge, Grim held her tightly, as if someone might take her from him. He rose to look at her face, emotions battling across his own, unexpected ones. She wanted to tip his mind over and play with the contents. So he tells her that she is both curse and cure, which we do hear it later on again. So it's like, which I wonder if that's like the whole compared to the life and death. Like she's both life, she's both death. She's both cursed for death, cure for life. Like because she could heal like the healing abilities and then she's Nightshade.
Yeah, and I think I feel like it could go with what we find out also about her. Um and it is confirmed what Marin thought.
Mm.
And
With the
so
curses.
yeah. So I also wondered if maybe that's what the cure side is also, a cure for the curses. Like,
Ooh.
she's they don't work on her. She just, that's her flair. And, she's gonna be able to even break like the Nexus curse or something.
Without doing what
Obviously,
she's
yeah.
supposed to do.
Without having to kill Oro or anything like that. Like she could somehow, I don't know if it's one of those where like she can borrow a
Mm.
ruler's powers, like access them that way or whatever, and then like break the curse, but then like transfer the power back without harming
Without,
anybody.
yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. But I think that kind of plays into it also.
I am a little disappointed. We really don't get much about the rebellions. Like, they play a big
No, I thought
part.
we would get more.
They kind of play a big part, but at the same time, it's like they're just there. It's
Yeah.
like a whole nother side quest that, like, it hasn't been touched on.
Yeah.
After the first time, Isla didn't want to stop. She woke up sprawled on top of Grim, cheek against his chest. She lifted her head to look at him and found him already awake. He met her eyes and he smiled. And she was like so like surprised because he actually smiled. And she points out that he has a dimple, to which he didn't even know he had one. So you can see that
Yeah.
he doesn't smile. So like this is like news to him as well. Then thought about what Grim had told her. She wondered if he would leave, or forget her like the rest. Grim asked her what was wrong, so Isla said, "You aren't going to disappear, right?" Grim laughed and said, "Nightshade rulers are typically forbidden from betting the same person more than once. Last night alone," and then his sentence kind of stops, but it seemed that Grim wasn't going anywhere. Isla tells him she wanted to do it all again immediately. So he tells her, "You are Bane. For me, it's never felt like that." Isla then says, "So you won't be entertaining other women lining up for the privilege of sleeping with you anymore?" He tells her, "No, you've ruined me. I have 1,000 things to do, but all I want to do is lock us in this room. All I want is to claim you so thoroughly that there won't be a part of you that doesn't have a memory with me." Cheesy, but it's new to him.
Yeah.
So Isla tells him to do it, and he did. A few days later, Isla portals to Grim's room. Within a moment, she was in his arms. Grim tells her she's an addiction, she is his Nightbane. So Isla tells Grim not to be mad because she went back to the cave, but she wasn't hurt. And she also tells him that it's nothing bad, but not to get upset. She says that she should just show him, so she pulls out the starstick, but before she could portal, Grim grabs her arm, going with her. They portaled to the tree where she had it leashed. It was a dragon. Isla believed he was abandoned by his mother because he was small or injured. She wasn't sure yet, so she tells Grim to think of it as a pet for him. Isla believes he'll keep it in his quarters because she's asking him to, and she knew he couldn't refuse, or wouldn't refuse. But Grim picked it up, holding it far away from his body, and portaled them away. A week later, Isla tells Grim they needed to name it. I have a quote on this one. I think it's his response. Oh, okay. So this is kind of like a lot because like I didn't know how to like break it down, but she says we need a name. So to which Grim says a name and should be grateful it has a home. And then she gets kind of like after him to stop being so cruel because the dragon dips its head and it made it look sad. So Grim whipped around to face her with a look of pure incredulity. Look, I can't do
Incredulity.
big words, okay? I cannot do big words. You think that animal can speak? She glares at him. No, I think just like another beast in this room, it might be able to sense emotion, or at the very least, tone. So Isla looks at the dragon and tells it that it was okay and that he's mean to everyone, to which Grim raises an eyebrow at her and says, "Is that what we're calling what I did to you last night? Mean?" Her cheeks flush and the dragon tilts its head at her in curiosity, and she wondered if it really could understand them. So I want to know, like, if we're gonna get more though on the dragon. Where is the dragon? Like, we haven't
Yeah.
found out yet, like, where the dragon is at currently.
Yeah.
Later on, Grim complains to Isla that the dragon keeps flying into his bed at night, which she thought was adorable.
He's
And what is the
lonely.
name? What did they name the dragon? Like, we don't know these things yet. Is it going to come into the war? Like, is it going to be part of the war? How big is it now? Like, is it staying
It's gotta be
little?
huge by now. It's been months.
But is it like she did state though that the mother must have abandoned it because it was small. She didn't know if it was small
Had
or
half
injured,
a
so
thought I had half a thought that it was the dragon from the cave, and since they got past it and it just like, like it was an illusion that it was this big bad dragon or whatever, but it was just this tiny little baby and
was that
that
dragon though
they
its
were going
mother?
to it.
Is that the mother? Or is this a whole completely different dragon?
I don't know.
All right, so we are out of memories right now. So this next chapter, it hadn't worked. None of the memories were useful. She was now conflicted about what she had to do. Oro told her it will only take a moment to kill Grim. She wouldn't need to hold on for long. Um, the words kill him came to her mind, but some echo of her past screamed against the words because they know it's wrong. Like, so she tells Oro, "You must hate me," because she summoned Grim and it was reckless. Okay, can kind of hear like we go back through that self pity party is
Yeah.
what I call it. She needs that reassurance. Oro tells her it was reckless, but it helped with her plan. It could save them if it works. Isla then tells Oro she's broken. He should find someone else to love. Oro was not having any of it, told her, "Do you think that's how this works? Do you think love is something you can control?" So she tells him that she's a mess and that she sees the way he looks at her and can imagine the things he wants, a future. She doesn't know if she's ready for that. And I think that's because she's still conflicted, like who she really wants now with these memories coming up.
Yeah.
Like she's back and forth. Oro has waited hundreds of years for her. She has no idea how patient he can be. Isla believes she doesn't deserve love. Her mind is a mess. She's a mess. One day she's going to do something. He'll see the real her, the worst her. Oro tells her that he sees everything and he loves her. I don't think when he sees her nightshade that he's going to be like he'll love her, but not like
Yeah.
all that. So she wants to know why. And then we have the quote here. He looked at her. "For hundreds of years before I met you, I don't think I smiled or joked or laughed more than a handful of times. Nothing excited me. Nothing made me feel anything anymore." He took her hand. "Meeting you was like remembering what I was like before the curses," he said. "Loving you is remembering that I once loved about me." She brought him to life. The love between them was a bridge. It went both in both directions. She could feel where their forces met. Darkness had clawed its way into her heart, but for this moment, all she could see was light. All she could see was him. Isla went on her toes and kissed him, and Oro tells her that he's not going anywhere. His heart is hers for as long as she wants it. Isla promises she's not going anywhere either. She then tells Oro she needed to train alone for a while in preparation for the battle. He was a, he was to supervise the Starling barrier being built. Cinder had started the shield while the rest of the Starlings started the second one. When Aura was gone and she could no longer feel the connection, she made her way to the place of mirrors because remembering hadn't worked. She then says, "Forgive me," to Oro, like in the wind, even though since he's not there. She was breaking her promise to him, slicing a long line across her palm. She turned it into strength. She then stuck her crown into the lock and turned it, forcing the door to completely open. No surge stopped her, so she stepped into the vault. Which we We get things, but we don't get things. Like,
Yeah, yeah. Um, so let me just start by saying this chapter pissed me the fuck off. Pissed me off. Um, this
this
by
was
far was 100% not my favorite chapter at all. Like, out of
this
all
is
the
where
chapters that I disliked in this book, which wasn't very many, this takes the cake 100%.
confusion
Like, this
hits me. Confusion from here, the next couple of few, like 2, 3
yeah,
chapters, just confusing.
yeah. Alright, so with that, the vault was starless black and it was fucking empty. Empty. Nothing in there. She could feel the power. She felt had metal in her mouth. It was enough to pretty much bring her to her knees, and she didn't know where it was coming from. She whips around, nearly drops to the floor. Hello, little bird. Fucking Tara.
Wait, is it really her? Like, is it
I
really
don't
her? Because
see, I
Grim
don't
has Tara.
know.
And if she was stuck in the portal or in the vault, like if she's stuck in here, then how is she two places at once?
I have no idea. I like, is it somebody that kind of took shape of somebody from Isla's mind? Like,
Oh,
when
like playing
it's
tricks on
like when
her?
it yeah, like when it did whatever to her in the beginning and like it smacked her out of the vault or whatever, was that kind of like a connection that it made that it pulled from her memory and then
Kind
it
of
kind of
like,
like took the shape of that person? So
yeah,
it
because we
had like a
have,
physical form. It had a physical form, not kind of like a spiritual one or whatever,
because Celeste could
shadowy
change.
thing.
Celeste could change, to people. And then we find out that some of the ancient creatures could turn, like people can turn into animals or like what
Yeah,
they want to be. So maybe
yeah.
it's something like that.
Or Tara was just fucking playing everybody, and this was the plan the entire fucking time. And this was why they were so willing to, like, obviously, it didn't work with her mom because she had a relationship, she had a child, so that was one reason they were extremely willing to kill Isla's mom and dad to ensure
Mm.
that it passed on to her, so then that way they could manipulate her for her entire fucking life and get her to play out everything that it needed. And she just seduced the wrong fucking king, basically.
Ugh,
But not in not in their way. But she seduced the wrong person, basically. Like, so I don't know. Tara steps forward, asking, "Do you feel proud, little bird?" Smirking at the blood dripping from Isla's hand. She no longer felt the sting of pain. Power still gathered in her bones, still honeyed everything it touched. Do you feel proud when you should feel ashamed? And I guess I don't, and I don't know if it's the way that I read it, but I don't really know what she's supposed to feel ashamed about.
maybe
Like,
banishing them?
like I don't get what I don't know what she's supposed to. I don't know. Um, so she assumes Grim must have portaled her there. It was the only way, and he must be watching her. She wondered if Tara had stolen what was inside since it's empty, but is confused because she has the crown, the only key to being able to unlock the vault.
Yeah, nobody else could get in there. Nobody
Yeah.
can use their powers either. Like, I mean, they can use their wildling powers, but Grim can't use his
Yeah.
powers to get her there.
Isa laughs at her without humor, saying, "You who lied to me my entire life, you who trained a girl to fight but planned for her to seduce a king, you who killed my parents in cold blood, and you who warned me my entire life about Nightshade, but have now joined them. Tara tells her that she did what she needed to in order to protect the realm, to protect her, and she will continue to do so before you make more of a mess of things. I also didn't quite understand what she means by like making a mess of things. Is it
I think it's
because
foreshadowing.
of the she went off of their plans, seduce the wrong king? Like, is that what she's supposed to be ashamed of? Is that what mess she made, that it started all of this? Did they expect her to like this not happen if she would have done what they wanted her to? She tries to attack Tara using her magic, but Tara is able to evade, kind of brush off everything like that she manages to throw at her. Tara tells her that she's predictable, her form is dreadful, and so all Isla's doing is getting herself more worked up, more emotional about everything. Um, she doesn't care about playing fair. She tries and tries, but Tara just gets through all of it. Just it's like what I said yesterday. Of course she's predictable. They trained her exactly how they wanted her. They know her every move because they taught her every fucking move.
Mm-hmm.
So she is going to be predictable. And which is crazy though, because she's she's able to use her wildling powers now. She's got her nightshade powers and everything like that, but it's still predictable for them to know her moves. So at this point, her power had been drained to the ashes. All her fury and sadness and pain had lashed out but had been defeated. Tara tells her, "Your emotions have always been your greatest weakness. You are still so foolish, but have it your way. Thank you for opening the portal for us." Which makes me right there think that that was the plan the entire fucking time. Like, manipulate it. And then with this words, she unlocks another memory. Um, but that's where I'm confused on Tara. And like, is Poppy in on it? Did Tara play Poppy? Because Poppy wasn't there. It was just Tara showed up.
Right.
So, like, I need more for this. I still don't trust Poppy, but I
We don't
I don't know.
know.
I'm more confused about them. Like, are they ancient creatures? Like, thank you for opening the portal for us. So,
Was it both
like,
of
most of
them?
the people that are there.
Was it confirmed that it was both of them that killed her parents? Or is it just assumed it was both of them? Could it have just been Tara?
See, that I don't remember. I'd have to go back to the book, but I mean, I remember that Aurora, Celeste, whatever, showed up to them telling them what needed to happen and everything like that.
See, because
But
we
I don't
only
remember
get
if it's confirmed
Tara's.
that.
We only got Tara's, like, point of, not so much point of view, but her talking to Tara because Poppy was pretty much dying in the ground. So we don't get anything from Poppy. Like,
Yeah, that's
Poppy
true.
replying. It was only
And
Tara
Tara
in
makes
that
it
room.
Yeah, and Tara makes it sound like it was both of them that did it, like they needed to do,
Right.
what they needed to.
But we don't get much on
But I
Poppy.
don't
And
know.
if it really is Tara in this vault, who's to say it's
Yeah.
just
And
Tara behind it and dragging Poppy down with her? We don't really
yeah, well,
know.
because you would think if they were working together that they would have shown up together, unless Poppy's going to show up in the next stretch of chapters for the next episode. Um, and taunt her the way that Tara taunted her in that chapter. And they're like divide and conquer type thing with her to kind of throw her off. Um, but at this point, I don't think that either one of them had genuine love for her. Like there was definitely a motive between the two of them. And then until I see something from Poppy, I don't. I think both of them had ulterior motives for her from the very fucking start. Like we've found out.
Right.
So, going into this memory, she just finished training with Tara. She was polishing her throwing stars, and she started to feel something calling to her from the forest. Grim was meeting her soon, but the calling was beckoning more desperate now. So, she portaled into the woods. She followed the call until she reached a spot that the elders had shown her before she had died. It was a rave. Oh my God. A river framed by cliffs. Why can't I talk? And waterfalls that fell in transparent sweeps. Stones larger than her skull lined the edge and had been smoothed over time. Sticking out of the dirt was the sword.
I found her.
And she describes it as looking as if it had been thrown from the sky. uh, yeah, thrown down from the heavens and just sticking out of the ground. And so then Grim portals into her room and he pales, asking where she found it. She was happy and excited at first that it had presented itself. It could help him, and then he would be able, like, he would help her. Like, it just confirms that deal that they made, or so she thinks. So she begins to ask him questions, remembers that he had something he wanted to tell her, and he looks almost afraid. He sits and then tells her. And I don't like the story. Like, this was so much for her. This was not, I don't know. Like, I love that we got answers.
Right.
So he tells her, more than 20 years ago, I began my search for the sword. I had help, my best general. One day, he went to follow a lead, taking my relic I had made to get there. Then he was gone. She remembered that he told her he had been betrayed by someone he had hunted the sword with. He continued, I assumed he died in the attempt to get the sword. For over 2 decades, I believed that to be true, until you portaled into my palace. My guards found your clothes, the ones you had left behind. When I discovered you were wildling, I knew there was only one way you could have gotten to my palace so quickly. Then when I realized you were uncursed, everything made sense. At this point, she's super confused, asking what he meant. He tells her that it was rare, but non rulers can have flares. His general had one. He was impervious to curses. Tears stung her eyes, and he told her that the general was her father. That would mean she was Nightshade. She denies it. He tells her that it's true. He believes that her father did find the sword, but he always feared that one day Grim would share his father's ambitions and use the Drex to conquer Lightlark, but he must have met your mother. She asks why his father wanted Lightlark so badly, and he tells her that Lightlark is a miniature. The creators of the island fled a world made up of different countries, Moonling to the very north, buried in the ice, Sunling at the center, where the sun shined brightest, Wildling close by, Skyling, then Starling, and then Nightshade at the opposite end, where it was the darkest and the coldest. They took thousands there to another world and created a smaller version of the one they left behind. It seemed impossible she had never heard any of this. He continues. Cronin, my own ancestor, wanted to go back after he was cast out from Lightlark, but the portal is built into its foundation. Using it successfully would destroy the island. She demands to know why no one knows any of this, and he tells her only the ancient creatures remain from that world. Over time, the information was lost, but not by Nightshade, though my people never attempted to try to seek out the portal again until I was born. He reveals that he has the same flair Cronin had for portaling. The portal doesn't work on its own, it requires someone with his skill. And she asks him why anyone would ever want to go back to that world, and he tells her he doesn't want to. He says that they went to war over the portal, but after the curses, his father died and he abandoned the search for the sword. He only needed the sword after the Drex became a problem to stop them.
Yes. And this
So,
gets my
that
rate
was the
going.
Great War. That was the Great War that he fought in. So we have that confirmed. That this is the reason they went to war and stuff. This is like why Grim or Oro doesn't like Grim, whatever. Like that war is what stemmed it. So now we know the reason they went to war. And I got a little too heated there at the end where he tells her that he needs a sword after the drugs become a problem to stop them. And
Yes.
she doesn't take the information back and say, "Hey, fucking think we have this all wrong.
Yes, and we'll get,
I
like,
don't
more
think
into
you
that
have
with, like, the
strong
next
or
chapter too,
anything."
like
Like, he painted it clear as day.
yes, and like I said, we'll get into that, like, the next chapter when she goes and tells everybody else a whole 'nother story.
Yes. So he tells her that Cleo is the only other person that he knows of that actually knows about the portal. She realizes that's how he had the moonling medicines, and he says she wants to go back for some reason, but isn't quite sure. He says even if he wanted, he couldn't use it because it's in the Wildling Palace on Lightlark, and only a Wildling ruler can open it. She thinks that she could never do that. She can never doom an entire island of people. She flung the sword at him, wanting to stab him with it, and asked him what the cost of it was, and he tells her it was her life. He needed her to use her flare to break the curse on the sword, which is what kind of brought me to the whole like cure, curse, and cure type thing. Like, that's
Mm.
kind of the cure thing. I don't know quite what he means by a curse just yet. But it was an ancient curse, and breaking it would have either killed her on the spot or shortened her life significantly. Everything she thought she knew shattered. He knew it would kill her, and he never meant to actually help her at the Centennial. He tells her that was before he knew her, and all of this had happened. She tells him that she never wants to see him again, says goodbye. He asks if she means that, and she replies yes. And he, very sadly, tells her, "I've been stabbed 1,000 times, but none of that hurts more than hearing you say goodbye." And then he vanishes.
All right, so this next chapter, telling you like, drives me nuts. It does. And this is where like her blinders are like full intact, not going anywhere.
Yeah.
Okay, so Oro didn't say any word about Isla's cut hand, nor did he get angry. He just took them back to their room, cleaned her wound, fed her broth, and brought her medicine. She called him through their link. He answered, he always did. Isla thought Enya was right. He deserved better. She then tells Oro she needs to tell him something. So they go to the castle, which was empty. The war was the next day. Isla tells Azul, Oro, Zed, Cal, and Enya why Grim is coming. No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
Yeah. Not the
She
truth,
tells
at
them,
least.
yeah, she tells them about the portal, the other world. Azul asks, why would he want to go to a different world? And Isla says she didn't know. In her memories, Grim told her about it without showing interest in visiting it. Okay, he told you he didn't want it. He told you why you went to the sword, but you're going and telling everybody else that he wants the sword to create an army when he straight up told her that he's using it to kill the Drex because he's having that
Yeah.
problem of the Drex that nearly killed him in one of her memories. And then she's
Yeah, and
going to
it says
tell
right
them,
there. She doesn't know, it doesn't make sense. He told her about it without showing
yeah,
it interest. Like,
but I'm going to go and tell them that he wants the
why
portal. He wants the other world.
are
Let's
you not gonna speak up and say that?
like, and then so Zed says they need to make sure the portal stays closed. With tears running down her face, Isla tells them it's already opened because she opened it. All because her emotions got in the way. But my biggest thing is how are you going to go tell them a completely different story from your memories? Like, this is what he wants. This is what he's going to do. No, it isn't. That's what you
Yeah.
think he's going to do. Like, you just completely changed the outcome of everything. And maybe that's why she's the curse. She completely changed it all, making
Oh,
him the
maybe.
bad guy.
Yeah.
But it, she like when I like I said when I read that, I'm like, did I read something? Am I misinterpreting what she's going on about? No, she just has her blinders on and she's
Yeah.
painting him to be the bad guy in front of the ones that already assume the worst of him. when
Yep.
she knows the real reason. So that kind of like it confused me and like it pissed me off at the same time because I'm like, did I not read that correctly? Like, am I the problem here?
Nope,
All right.
not at all. I took it the same.
So now we are on the war. And I didn't go like I went into detail, but I didn't go into great detail. Hold on, I'm on my blanket. There we go. Because there's a lot. There's a lot,
Yeah.
and I'd be reading you guys the whole story. We're not gonna do that.
No.
All right, so the morning of the war, Isla went and visited the oracle. She couldn't hold herself upright, the oracle, I mean. She pointed out that this was the most important prophecy, and Isla almost missed it because she was too stuck in her ways, too trying to prepare, so she waits till the last minute to go see the oracle. Hours, literally hours, or minutes, pretty much, before things were about to start to happen. Isla's desires will decide the fate of the world. Isla told her fate had already been decided because she opened up the portal. But according to the oracle, it has not. There are two possibilities. She sees Isla choosing each path because it's always changing. So that the way I took it is like because Isla's mind's always changing. She wants to kill Grimm, but at the same time, like her memories are telling her not to. Like she still has that connection with him. But Isla's heart decides the future. Her choice decides it's either Oro or it's Grimm. According to the oracle, Isla kills one of them. Nothing is decided, but Isla will kill one of them with her bare hands. Let me go here. Like I said, there's a lot, so I quoted like what I thought was like important. Um, and this is where I brought up again that it was stated about the curse and the cure. But the oracle says, you, whose heart has been split in two in more ways than one, are capable of both life and death. You are both curse and cure. And then she remembers, that Grimm had said those same words to her. When the water cleared, the oracle was gone. So Isla races across the main lane on Lynx's back. She had planned to kill Grimm, but she remembered so much more. The thought of hurting him hurt so much. And then she meets up with Azul. But before he left him with a gift. A violent storm raged above the island, a fence to keep the Drex from being able to escape. He looked devastated to leave, but Isla slipped one of her rings onto his finger, telling him to keep it safe for her until they see each other again. And then her and Lynx go back, and Lynx came to a halt in front of Oro, giving him 10 times a better greeting than what he gave her. Isla tells Enya to be careful, and I was wrong on this because Enya tells her not to worry, she does not die today. So, like, I was completely wrong. I thought maybe this was Enya's time,
Yeah,
but
I
it
did
is
too.
not. Isla wouldn't tell Oro about what the oracle said, even though there would be no chance of her killing Oro. She tells Oro she's afraid she's already ruined everything, but Oro tells her they have a plan and the portal being open doesn't change that. He then tells her that if something happens to him, he wants her to take his power and leave. Isla went to tell him nothing was going to happen to him, but Oro took her hand and placed it over his heart, looking almost happy, almost at peace, and tells her, all these years I have saved it for you. It will always be yours. Protect the people of Lightlark. All Isla could say was, I love you. Um, and I think, was this the part, and maybe this next part that I have quoted? There was part where it looked like, maybe it was before. Yeah. Okay, so it's this next part. um, She showed Oro that she had the golden rose around her neck. Oro then pulls her to him, kissing her. The kiss was desperate. Um, and then it says, he leaned down and whispered in her ear, one day I'm going to take you to my favorite place. She remembered him telling her about it, a beach on Sun Isle with water the green of her eyes, and I'm going to lay you upon the rocks. Her pulse quickened, and I'm going to make it your favorite place too. Isla tells him tomorrow, not one day, but tomorrow. They were going to win and everything was going to be fine. but she saw the signs. He didn't believe her. And I think he knows, like, he knows that she's back and forth because in one of the chapters, when they were talking with everybody in the room, when she was telling them that she would kill Oro or kill Grimm, that he looked like he didn't believe her. Like she was kind of telling that lie that she was going to kill Grimm because she had just had her memories. One moment, the mainland was empty, other than their soldiers. Next, Grimm's army was there. He transported them all, thousands, at once. Oro tells Isla tomorrow before giving her a kiss and jumping into the air, straight into battle. Um,
Initiated motherfucker.
so what? I gotta figure out which one. Okay, so I had on here. Which one did I want to do? I don't even know. I had like on here for a quote, and I'm like, what?
I don't know.
I know. This is on me. Where did I? You know what? I don't even know. Okay, I think I know. I think it was about Oro's. His effect was immediate. Isla watched in awe as Oro's fire became a wave that washed over dozens of Nightshade soldiers. As he pulled water from the sea and flooded an entire unit, washing them right off the side of the island, he made a sword of startling sparks and began fighting, and anyone who dared approach him died. Because then a group of nightshades had stepped into her path, but before they could draw a single shadow, Lynx plowed through most of them, then tore the rest apart with his mighty fangs. Near the coast, Isla saw what looked to be a moving wall of water. Cal swept across the land inside a massive wave with a dozen serpent heads coming out, each lashing out, drowning all of like the nightshades. But darkness was everywhere. Ink turned over just like her vision. She watched it suddenly turn to ash, a skyline sliced in half by a ribbon on or of umbra. So Isla sent a line of nightshades hurtling towards one of the starling shields. Their bodies broke against it. There was no signs of Drex yet. Isla thought maybe Grimm hadn't found a way to use the sword. In a flash, Lynx was struck. Isla managed to encase them both in a shield of energy. Shadows had eaten through parts of his armor. If he wasn't wearing it, it would have been his skin. They could have killed him. Rage shot through her. She could hear Oro telling her to calm down because she was, again, using her emotions for her powers at this time. Her hand struck the ground. Its terrain rippled, swallowing any nightshade, burning them beneath the rock. Now, I wonder though of her doing this because it states like the island had shook. Uh, Let me see here. Yeah, the island had shattered, and I wonder if that is what causes the Drex to later on appear because
Yeah.
she let her emotions get the best of her and she kind of caused chaos with the island by striking the ground. But more had rushed forward, calling their shadows, so Isla called on her own, turning them into a Sith that can cut them down. Grimm's army was being slowly boxed in, so Isla portals to Sky Isle, letting the Vinderlands know it was time. Nearby, Remlar watched with curiosity, and I'm wondering why. Like, he's seen her with her powers and what she can kind of do, especially with her nightshade. So, why is he watching her with curiosity? What does he see?
Maybe he knows that she's torn and he's wondering what way she's gonna go. Kind of like
Maybe.
what the Oracle said.
So Their plan was simple. Oro's armies would surround the Nightshade forces, trap them, keep moving them to the center of their battlefield. Then Isla would portal the second wave of warriors right into the middle, so Grimm's forces would be enclosed in all directions. And this is like the Venderlin. Like she was supposed to transport the Venderlin there. Sunlings, Skylings, Venderland, and ancient creatures all fought side by side, enemies united. Nightshades didn't have a chance. Then a woman came from the sea. Water crashed across the mainland. Soldiers were covered, frozen where they stood. Lynx had just was able to jump before he got frozen to the ground. Suddenly, Cleo was in front of her. She tells Isla she's on the wrong side if she wanted her realm to live, which technically her realm is. As long as she stays alive, her realm will live because Grimm has them in a safe spot. So Isla asks her why she was doing this. Cleo was doing it for her son. The other world has power they can't begin to fathom. Souls can rise once more. Now, is this what the third book is going to be about? Are we going to go into this whole other world? Do we learn more about it? But Cleo believed there was a chance to see her son again. But Isla told her she can't let her use the portal. Cleo was hoping Isla would see reason because they needed her. Cleo then rose. Cleo then rose into the air on a swirl of sea. She tells Isla flowers won't help her. It would be impossible to grip Cleo's wrist in her water-covered form. So Isla and Inya both attack Cleo. For a moment, Cleo's water shield had melted, weakened by Inya's flames. Isla was then able to tie roots around Cleo's wrists and legs, and then she did one around the neck for good measure. But flowers bloomed, so Isla plucked one, telling Cleo the flowers helped. Now, couldn't Cleo just automatically use her water again and turn into her water form if she really wanted to?
You would think so, but I don't know.
I say I don't know either. And this is what struck me odd, and this is where I pointed out two of the realms are not there fighting because Cleo had a legion, but Isla didn't see any more moonlings but Cleo herself. And wildlings weren't fighting either. But most of the nightshades were dead. It looked like they could win until a crack sounded through the world. Drex filled the sky. They were everywhere. A flash like a bolt of lightning shot above her. Zed, he was twirling a special tipped sword, traveling so quickly they went through the Drex. He was that fast. So he is living up to his little tale that where he likes to brag that he's the fastest skyling there is. A Drek dipped low, knocking Isla off a lynx. When he went to lunge for her, he was surrounded by nightshades. Two figures came crashing down, Seal and Ivel. This made me sad. Seal went to help Isla up when he was struck with a Drek's talon through his stomach. Ivel's scream shattered the world. She rushed to catch her twin. And I took this as they have that twin connection. So I feel
Yeah.
your emotions, I feel your pain type thing. But she rushed to catch her twin, trying to keep all the parts that were falling from him together. Isla pours the wildling elixir on his injuries, but it was too late. His eyes were too cold and unblinking. It was her fault. He was trying to help her. Ivel wouldn't leave her brother, so Isla created a small dome of starling energy around them, hoping that it would hold. She then heard Lynx growl. He was fighting too many soldiers. Isla gathered her power, turning them into dust. Her energy was drained. Um, then I thought this was kind of important and it's a lot, but through Lynx's legs, Isla watched helpless a death drowned everything around her. Or as death drowned everything around her, excuse me. The Drex were endless. Grimm must have made more. It was just like her coronation, limbs being torn, screams turning into silence, bodies fell from the sky more than the Drex did. The flight force had been reduced to just a few units. They didn't stand a chance. It still wasn't enough. Oh wait, the island would fall. Aura would die. I thought I had this in my notes. Maybe I completely. Oh no, I did have this in my notes. Oro would die. She would die. A deafening roar sounded. Even Nightshade's head stood still. The serpent woman came. Um,
I was surprised by that.
but so was I. But it
A
still
part of
wasn't enough,
a part of me kind of expected her to, but it still surprised me.
right? Yeah, because like she said, she was dead set. Like I'm not helping you. So I wonder what changed her mind. Is it because the portal is opened? Her home?
But you would
Um.
think that they're fighting for Nightshade if she wants, or what they think is, Nightshade's fighting for the portal if she wants to
Ooh.
go home.
I was gonna
But
say maybe she's on Nightshade's team, but it does say that she opened her mouth, swallowing all the nightshades that stood in her way.
yeah.
Uh, Oro fought nearby, charring the skies with his flames. Zed sped through multiple directs. Enya was a phoenix, fire wings curling behind her as she fought, but it still wasn't enough. Grim had yet to reveal himself, but this had to be put to an end. Isla and Lynx took off towards the bridge. Grim would come find her. She almost pulled the necklace when the woods filled with shadows. They were everywhere. They drew their shadows. And then we get the cliffhanger of life here. Even think about touching her and I'll kill you. A voice said, steps sounded behind her. Hello, heart. And then it ends. At least it's not like the end of the book. Like we still
Yeah, I
have those
know.
like next 20 some pages, but like at the
Yeah.
same time, like it was the biggest cliffhanger. Ugh. To know that he was there already waiting for her.
I don't know.
There's so many
Ugh.
questions. Like, I feel like in this one, and typically, in a series, you don't get much from that second one. This just like opened up more questions than answers.
Yeah.
And like,
Agreed.
where does it go from here, though? Like, do we get more about the portal, or is it like a one and done thing? Like, you opened it, okay, cool. Live your life daily, normal.
Yeah, like, are they gonna allow whoever wants to go back home and then find a way to close the portal? Or is it gonna be one of those things where, like, you're just gonna have to, like, it's gonna be open and you
Is the
can come and
portal,
go? Like,
yeah, is the portal going to cause more problems? Like,
I don't know.
too many questions, not enough answers. And she needs to get them blinders off. Like, she needs to get them
Yeah.
off. Stop telling
I
people
don't
one
know.
thing when you know the truth. Like, you know the truth.
Last 8 little chapters,
I know.
and a lot could happen.
I know. And a lot of them are like 1 to 2 pages. Again, there's only like, what, 20 pages left?
Yeah.
A little less than 20. But thank you for watching or listening to this week's Chapters Over Coffee episode. Join us next week where we go over pages 385 through 403, the last few chapters of Nightbane before we start the third book, Skyshade. I'm excited. I need to know more. Okay, my opinion, book 1 was better than book 2. But again, this is more like your in between.
Yeah.
You gotta have that in between.
Happy reading.